The shooting in Virginia Beach is sending shockwaves across the country and here at home. Flags in the Star City flying at half-staff today to mourn the victims. But the tragedy is also raising concerns. Roanoke Mayor Sherman saying it shows just how dangerous local government buildings are. The Commonwealth allows people to carry guns inside municipal buildings. Local governments are not allowed to ban weapons in them. 10 News reporter Taj Simmons talked with Lee this morning and joins us now live in downtown Roanoke. Taj, what was the mayor's main concern?
Well, most of all, Mayor Lee was worried that a Virginia Beach-esque situation could happen here. And as you said, there's really nothing that the city can do to prevent it. Now, the mayor has been up to Richmond several times to try and get lawmakers to change this law. And he says after what happened last night, there's no reason not to.
When you come in and do business here, you don't need a gun.
Nothing is stopping people from bringing in a gun to the municipal building.
No food or drink allowed in council chamber. How about no guns?
And Roanoke Mayor Sherman worries he could die here if nothing changes.
And I could come here and someone say, Mayor, you pissed me off about what you did the other day or what you done. People's minds are mixed up.
Despite his fears, Virginia code prohibits municipalities like Roanoke from passing laws preventing guns in municipal buildings. Mayor Lee believes state lawmakers should reconsider in the wake of the Virginia Beach shooting before a tragedy happens here. Do you think they're safe in here right now?
No, I don't think. I think there's some more could be done.
A bill to change the law was proposed this year, and Mayor Lee went to Richmond to advocate for it after a man threatened to shoot him and city council during the December meeting.
You come up to council chambers, we make decisions that affects people's lives, but yet you can come in with an AK rifle.
The bill never made it, but Mayor Lee hopes lawmakers try again in memory of the 12 people who died on Friday.
It seems as though we're getting immune to that. Tragedy, mourn, bury them, come right back. We've got to do more than just say, I'm sorry, and I'm gonna pray for you, and that's a good thing. But we've got to do more than that.
Now, it takes action from state lawmakers to restrict guns from any location, but there are some places in Virginia where you cannot carry right now. Most notably, that includes courthouses, which does include the Justice Center right across the street from the municipal building. For now, reporting live in Roanoke, Taj Simmons, 10 News, working for you.